Listen carefully, because what I am about to share could change everything you thought you knew about women. If you truly let these words sink in, your life with them will never look the same. Most men speak too freely, believing honesty will draw a woman closer, believing full disclosure will build trust. Yet the harsh truth is this: certain words once spoken destroy attraction. She will never admit this directly, but once you reveal these forbidden truths, she cannot see you as the same man again. That is why I am here, not to flatter you, not to sugarcoat, but to reveal the unspoken code that most women will never confess. What you choose to guard in silence will decide whether she respects you, admires you, and desires you, or whether she quietly loses interest. Every careless confession weakens a man's presence. Men who fail to understand this spend years wondering why her gaze turned cold, why she withdrew, why the respect she once had disappeared. I don't want that for you. So lean closer, take notes if you must, and subscribe right now. This is not casual advice, it is survival. It is about preserving the masculine edge this world is desperate to strip away. 1. Your deepest insecurities. The very first secret you must guard as a man is your deepest insecurities. Nothing will erode a woman's respect for you faster than placing your hidden fears in her hands. The modern world teaches men to open up, to be endlessly vulnerable, to spill their struggles as if this were the path to intimacy. But here is the brutal truth. Women do not admire men who broadcast weakness. You may believe it creates closeness, yet in reality, it dissolves attraction at its root. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor of Rome. He carried the unbearable weight of ruling an empire, navigating plagues, wars, and betrayal. Inside his private journal, he poured his doubts and fears, not to impress anyone, but to sharpen his mind and strengthen his resolve. He never turned those pages into public confessions. They were his tool for mastery, not a cry for comfort. And that is the lesson modern men forget. A man must first conquer himself in silence before he can speak with authority to others. When you look at a woman and say, "I feel like I am not enough," or "I am terrified of losing everything," she may soothe you in the moment. She may wrap her arms around you and whisper reassurance. But later, when life tests you both, those words return to her memory. And in that instant, she does not see a man she can lean on, she sees the cracks you exposed. Ask yourself this: if Leonidas, the Spartan king, who led 300 warriors against the vast Persian army, had confessed to his men, "I am afraid. I do not think we can win," would they have followed him into certain battle? Never. Strength does not mean the absence of fear. It means carrying fear with discipline and revealing only the courage the world needs to witness. This does not mean you bury everything inside until you collapse. No, you need outlets. Write in a journal, speak with a trusted brother, a mentor, or a wise guide. If necessary, seek a therapist. But never unload your raw insecurities onto the woman whose admiration you want to preserve. She does not want the burden of carrying your doubts. She wants to feel safe in your presence, to trust that when storms come, you remain the rock that cannot be shaken. Seneca once wrote, "Man is affected not by events, but by the view he takes of them." The way you frame your struggles determines how others perceive you. If you present them as challenges you are actively overcoming, you inspire her. If you present them as insecurities that define you, you lose her respect. So the next time you are tempted to confess every weakness just to feel lighter, pause. Ask yourself, do I want temporary relief today or lifelong respect tomorrow? One careless confession may ease your heart for a moment, but it can permanently alter how she sees you as a man. Guard your insecurities. They are not meant for her ears. They are meant for your discipline, your strength, and your private mastery. 2. Never tell her how many women you've been with. The second secret you must never reveal to a woman is the truth about how many women you have been with. This is one of the most dangerous traps a man can fall into, because no matter how you answer, you lose. Women are naturally curious, and at some point she will ask. She might lean in with a playful smile and say, "So, how many girls have you been with?" Or she may disguise the question with innocent words about your past. But make no mistake, there is no safe answer. If you tell her the number is high, she will quietly judge you. Even if she laughs in the moment, she will picture you as a restless player, a man who cannot be loyal, a man who is never satisfied. If you tell her the number is low, she will begin to question your experience, your desirability, and even your ability to attract women at all. Either way, your honesty becomes a weapon against you. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, taught, "Control what you can, accept what you cannot." You cannot control how she interprets your past, but you can control what you reveal. A wise man understands that certain truths are better left unspoken. Look at the leaders of history. Do you believe Julius Caesar, famous for his countless affairs, sat down with Cleopatra and recited the list of every woman he had touched? Of course not. His presence, his ambition, his strength, that is what defined him, not the number of conquests behind him. The same applies to you. A man should never let his past dictate his present frame. When a woman presses for answers, she is not seeking information. She is testing your composure. She wants to see if you will fold under pressure or stand firm with self-control. The right move is not brutal honesty, but disciplined redirection. You do not lie, but you refuse to surrender your power. Respond with charm and mystery. Say something like, "Enough to know what I want, and wise enough to know what I will never settle for." That single line gives her no ammunition, yet it keeps her intrigued. It shows that you are experienced, confident, and unwilling to play her game. Mystery preserves attraction. Full disclosure destroys it. Ask yourself, does telling her your past change how you treat her today? Does revealing a number increase her respect for you? The answer is always no. In fact, it poisons the way she sees you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to act according to virtue, not for the approval of others. Your past partners are irrelevant. What matters is the strength, consistency, and integrity you display in the present moment. Attraction does not thrive on confessions. It thrives on presence, discipline, and restraint. So the next time she leans closer with that testing smile and asks, "How many women have you been with?" remember this: her respect does not depend on your answer. It depends on your ability to withhold it. Silence, mystery, composure. These are the marks of a man she cannot resist. 3. Money. The third secret a man must never reveal is the full truth about his money. Few things destroy men faster than this mistake. Women, by nature, are wired to test provision, security, and lifestyle. But the moment you tell her exactly how much you earn, you surrender control of how she values you. You place your worth in her hands, and that is where attraction begins to collapse. If you admit you make little, she may start to see you as limited, as a man without ambition, even if you are patiently building something great. If you announce you make a lot, her expectations rise, and she begins to measure you by how much you can provide rather than by who you truly are. Either way, You are placing yourself in a box of her imagination. Once there, your identity becomes numbers instead of character. Seneca once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True strength comes not from the size of your bank account, but from the discipline with which you manage what you have. Ask yourself, do you believe men like Rockefeller or Musk ever sat across from women and revealed their exact figures? Never. They let their vision, their ambition, and their direction speak louder than a paycheck. A woman does not truly want to know the number. She wants to feel your drive, your ambition, your ability to lead yourself. When you reveal financial details, you rob yourself of both leverage and mystery. Imagine a king announcing to the public exactly how much gold lay in his treasury, how long before thieves and traitors plotted to take it from him. The same principle applies to you. When you reveal either abundance or lack, you invite judgment, envy, or manipulation. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself never to flaunt possessions, because external things never define greatness. True greatness is inner command, the ability to rule oneself. That is the essence of attraction, not in the coins you show, but in the presence you embody. So, when a woman asks, "How much do you make?" do not make the error of turning it into a confession. Redirect with vision. Say, "Enough to cover what matters," and focused on building more. That answer shows strength, control, and direction without handing her ammunition to use against you. Remember this: money is a tool, not your identity. Protect it as you would protect your crown. Show discipline, show ambition, and let your vision define you. A man who guards his financial truth commands respect. A man who exposes it too easily loses the very power that makes him desirable. 4. Fear. The fourth secret a man must never reveal is his deepest fears. Every man carries fear inside him. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of losing his position, fear of ending up alone. These fears are universal, but the moment you put them into words before a woman, something changes forever. She may hug you in that instant, she may whisper, "I understand." But deep within, her image of you shifts. She starts to question whether she can truly rely on you when life throws its storms. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome through plagues and wars. Do you believe he never felt fear? Of course he did, yet he refused to let the world see it. He wrote his doubts privately in his Meditations, transforming fear into discipline. He reminded himself, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." That wisdom made him untouchable in the eyes of his people. He carried fear, but he carried it in silence, so others only saw his courage. Now imagine telling a woman, "I am terrified of losing my job," or "I fear I cannot provide." She may comfort you today, but that memory will stay lodged in her mind. When future challenges arrive, she will not see the strong man she admired. She will remember the weakness you confessed, and attraction will wither in that shadow. Think about the Spartans. They were not admired because they never felt fear. They were admired because they never spoke fear. They stood with presence, fought with courage, and showed discipline. They understood a vital truth. Fear becomes powerful only when voiced. So ask yourself, when fear grips your chest, will you dump it onto her shoulders, hoping she carries it for you? Or will you stand tall, bear it as your burden, and let her see only your resolve? Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." When you confess your fears to her, you do not lighten the load. You plant your imagination into her mind. She begins to fear with you instead of leaning on you. That is the fastest way to lose her trust. The next time fear rises, write it down, confront it, master it. Share it with a journal, a brother, or a mentor if you must. But never hand it to the woman you want to respect you. Let her see only your courage, never your collapse. In her eyes, your silence in fear will always make you stronger than any words you could ever speak. 5. Betrayals. The fifth secret a man must never confess is how badly he has been betrayed by women in his past. Many men convince themselves that sharing their scars will win sympathy, that honesty about heartbreak will create loyalty. But here is the hard truth: it almost never does. The instant you say, "My ex cheated on me," or "women have used me before," she records that information. It becomes part of how she sees you. Instead of feeling pity that transforms into devotion, she often feels doubt. The thought creeps in: if other women did not value him, why should I? What you believe is honesty. She perceives as weakness. You are not showing her lessons learned. You are showing her the open wounds of being chosen last. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When you relive betrayal through words, you give it life again. You drag ghosts of the past into your present, and those ghosts start to define you. A man with power does not carry betrayal like a badge. He buries it, learns from it, and steps forward without looking back. Consider Alexander the Great. He lost companions. He was betrayed by generals. Yet he never stood before his men to complain of treachery. He did not seek sympathy. He rose taller, adapted, and pressed forward as if no betrayal could stop him. That is why he was unstoppable. Strength is not built by repeating how you were wronged. It is built by refusing to let betrayal chain you. So ask yourself, when you tell a woman of your heartbreak, what does she see? Does she see a warrior who overcame, or a victim who still bleeds? Women do not want to compete with ghosts of your past. They want to feel you have conquered them, buried them, and left them powerless. Seneca warned, "We are always complaining that our days are few, and acting as though they will never end." The same applies to betrayal. You waste your short life retelling the story of how you were wronged, instead of building the life that proves you have risen above it. The strongest men adapt, learn, and speak only of lessons, never wounds. So the next time you feel tempted to confess how others betrayed you, stop. She does not need your pain. She needs your presence. Respect is not earned by men who cry over betrayal. It is earned by the man who rises above it, in silence, without needing to say a single word. 6. Weakness. The sixth secret you must never confess to a woman is where you are weakest as a man. Every man carries struggles, whether with discipline, addictions, or lack of control in certain areas. But the moment you reveal them, you etch an image of helplessness in her mind. When you say, "I can't control myself with this," or "I always fail at that," she may smile outwardly, but deep inside, her respect begins to erode. Women are not drawn to men who surrender to their weaknesses. They are drawn to men who conquer themselves. Epictetus declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is not about doing whatever you feel. It is about ruling over your impulses with discipline. When you hand a woman your weakness in words, she may comfort you in the moment, but she will never look at you the same. Respect fades when weakness is broadcasted before it is mastered. History teaches us this truth. Did the Stoics parade their struggles to the public? No. They worked in silence, turning flaws into strength. Winston Churchill battled crippling depression, what he called his black dog. But he never stood before his people confessing despair. He carried the weight privately, and in doing so, he gave his nation the courage to endure. Leadership demands the appearance of strength, even when storms rage within. Ask yourself honestly, if you reveal your weakness to a woman, will she admire you more, or will she secretly begin to wonder how long before it defeats you? Attraction is not about flawless perfection, it is about direction and mastery. A man can stumble, but he must never present himself as enslaved by what he cannot control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. That is the essence of this lesson. Do not tell her where you stumble, show her where you stand. She does not need to see the chains you are still trying to break. She needs to see the scars of battles already won. Until your weakness has been conquered, keep it private. Transform it in silence, discipline it in solitude, and then, if ever revealed, let it appear only as proof of victory, not confession of defeat. 7. Doubt. The final secret you must never confess to a woman is the doubt you carry about yourself. Every man wrestles with it, wondering if he is good enough, if his choices are right, if he has what it takes. Doubt is natural, but the moment you speak it aloud to her, you plant a crack in her image of you. She may comfort you in that instant, but over time, her confidence in you will quietly erode. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He understood that doubt was never something to hand over in words. It was fuel. Great men turned their uncertainty into fire, not into confession. Imagine a general standing before his soldiers, saying, "I am not sure we can win." Do you believe they would charge into battle with conviction? Of course not. Hesitation kills, confidence leads. And when you tell a woman you doubt yourself, you make her hesitate in believing in you. She wants to follow your strength, not question your resolve. Women do not crave the confessions of a man uncertain. They crave the presence of a man who moves forward even while uncertainty weighs on him. They want to feel his certainty, even if behind closed doors he is still calculating the path. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Doubt grows when spoken, but shrinks when confronted. So when you look into her eyes, ask yourself, do you want her to see a man who trembles in uncertainty, or a man who keeps walking through the storm? A man who admits doubt only to himself grows stronger. A man who spills it to her loses her trust. The choice is yours. Never hand her your uncertainty. Hand her your resolve. Let her see the steadiness of your step, not the shaking of your heart. A woman does not need your doubt. She needs your direction. And the man who gives her that becomes the man she cannot forget. Now the truth is clear. There are certain secrets a man must never give away, because the moment he does, a woman will never see him the same again. This isn't deception, it's discipline. It's about protecting your frame, guarding your mystery, and holding firm to the strength that defines you. Women don't respect men who confess every insecurity, every weakness, every fear. They respect the men who carry their battles with silent resolve, who master themselves like Marcus Aurelius, who stand unshaken like Leonidas, and who wield their doubts like a shield instead of pouring them out for comfort. Attraction is fragile. It is not built on endless words. It is built on presence, on certainty, on the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he island. One wrong confession can shift the balance forever. So ask yourself, do you want to be seen as her rock, her warrior, her king, or as her patient, her project, her weakness. The choice belongs to you. Remember this: silence is power, mystery is magnetic, and self-mastery is irresistible. If this message spoke to you, give this video a like, share it with a brother who needs it, and subscribe for more truths women will never say aloud. Hold your secrets close and hold your power even closer.